All right, there we go. We got those guys in. Let's get our Facebook buddies up in here. I'm not even going to click that big T. We're just leaving Mr. T's alone. All
We
right.
can leave Big T for our Travises that are in the
Yeah,
Facebook group all the time. Tarbox and
absolutely.
Weber. Those are the big T's.
The big T's. All right, guys, welcome in. It is the 10th of March. We are hurtling our way towards free agency, the offseason. But the biggest thing, the biggest hurdle has been passed by the Broncos. Russell Wilson is still a Bronco. I keep having to tell myself that because it doesn't seem real. Walking around Seattle yesterday wearing my Broncos stuff, it's a little bit of looks from people here and there, but
I was say that's a little dangerous, dude. Rubbing it in just a little bit.
I'm in an okay-ish neighborhood, and you know what? I'm bold and proud. If it's the first time in a while, I feel like I can poke my head out into public. And here this is the safe space. We always say this is a safe space for Broncos fans. We can vent whatever, but in public, yeah, I would still wear it, but a little bit emboldened these days. Also, Scott, you know this. I'm inflammatory. I'm provocative. I like to be a little bit of a troll sometimes. Just get the content going. It's fun.
No, I'll wear stuff like that. I mean, you hear about, I grew up listening to like the LA Dodgers crowd was like the wine and cheese crowd, show up late, leave early.
Mm,
No, you get out in the bleachers and it's like the gangland crowd. It's rough. It's fun.
yeah,
It's more like a Raiders crowd out there. The Angels are the wine and cheese crowd down in Orange County. They reminded me of Braves games, but I'd wear my Chipper Jones jersey and someone would give me crap. I just wave and smile. You can avoid that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Mark Schrader,
Exactly.
good morning. I know we got a lot of good mornings to say, but Mark's coming in with coffee this morning already. Coffee
Yeah.
Star saying good morning. Certainly appreciate you, Mark. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mark, down in Texas. Hopefully, it's warmer there than it is here. Luckily, my heat is back on, so that's great. However, I live in an old house, and the heat guy came in and said they haven't built this type of heater since the 80s. The parts don't exist, so if it's broken, I don't know what to tell you. And it's an oil one, so what a good time to need an oil refill for your heat. So, thank you, Mark, for helping me stay warm. Chase is in the house too. I learned the news from you guys doing the live gut reaction. Happy to share that moment in history with y'all. Go Broncos, man. That's awesome,
Nice.
Chase. That's
That's a
really,
good
really
alert.
cool. I will, I mean, not to sound cheesy or anything like that too, but I'll share your sentiments. I will remember the fever dream that was this last Tuesday, probably forever. I still remember where I was the moment that the news came that Peyton Manning was signing with the Broncos. I was sitting in organic chemistry lecture at it would have been probably a Wednesday morning. I don't remember the exact date. And I stood up and cheered in class, and just the place went silent. I'm like, I don't care. We just got Peyton freaking Manning. So Peter coming in, still can't believe it's real. Absolutely, yeah. Somebody pinch me. It's really good. I do think it's kind of funny. A lot of sentiment I've been getting from Seahawks Twitter and just in general is like, I was getting kind of tired of Russ. We weren't going anywhere anyway. Good luck with him, I guess, but we were ready to move on. It's like, you do not know what quarterback purgatory is. You don't remember, but good luck. God
No,
bless you, and
I
good
get
luck.
it though. That's why I said I asked my good friend is a Seahawks fan. He's from Seattle. I said, so what do you think? What's going to happen there in Wilson? He goes, you know what? He's been great. We love him for it, but we're ready for a change. He's ready for a change. We're okay with him moving on. And he said that a month ago.
Yeah,
So he may have resigned himself to it, but I get it. I'm
yeah,
sitting here with a Falcons team that was in the Super Bowl in 2016, playoff contenders in 17-18, and have been crappy since. It's like,
yeah,
all right, Julio Jones, good luck. Matt Ryan, if you got to go, you got to go. We get it. It's time to accelerate the rebuild. And they got a good return on it. They did.
yeah,
I do. I think they got a good return on a player that was, for a team that wasn't a quarterback away and is headed in the wrong direction, for a guy that wanted to go out, leave with 2 years on his contract. I thought they got a good return.
yeah. Absolutely. You're 100% correct on that one. They did get a good return, and happy that they can move forward. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with Drew Lock and with all these guys. But yeah, you never know. It's going to be a fun time, no doubt. So I'm trying to find this ad read right now. Scott, pull up a couple things. The good morning from Ethan saying hello to you. Good morning to you, Ethan. Also, Elliot D. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, Elliot D's coming in with the first super chat. So, good morning. You think we will get more top tier veterans in free agency? It still feels like a dream. We got Wilson. Hopefully, stays number 3 jersey ordered. So that's the thing. I mean, we want to
Yeah,
talk about a masterclass from George Paton to, at worst, pull this off and remain cap neutral and still have $30 million in available cap space is insane.
mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Now, How quickly do you sign him to an extension? Do you maybe go through this year and say, hey, we want to handle this in the offseason so we can bring in some guys this year? Maybe, but you could probably give him a nice raise without even hurting the cap number by extending him out to 10 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you're still going to go after some free agents. You still have 10 draft picks that you can bundle together and send off one way or another, whether it's to move up in the draft some or to bring in a bunch of guys to fulfill some depth, whatever you want to do. But you got money, you got your quarterback, you got a ton of draft picks. Yeah. Remind me again, I'm still pissed about this, Nick. Wasn't it last August that the Broncos front office got like a D-?
Yeah, somebody gave him a bad grade because they didn't get the
quarterback. It was like ESPN because they didn't draft a quarterback. Yeah. Well, and like I said to begin with, I'm like, you got a young roster and a ton of money. What's the problem? You don't have your quarterback right now? Okay, well, maybe it didn't present itself at the time. You can't control that. And if you're just a quarterback away, that's not a D- from the front office perspective. No. So I still, that one still bothers me because I've seen bad front offices. There's bad front offices all over the league. And this was a freaking masterclass.
Yeah. It's always like, they answered one question and there was one that was slightly better, maybe getting the quarterback figured out last year in the draft. You didn't have the option there still, but let's say that it's just a to be determined grade at that point. It's never great to grade them that early, and it was all building towards that moment, and here we are.
Well, again, if you're in a position to pounce, if you've got a young, talented roster, which we're all pretty in agreement, there's a lot of talent on this team, young, under contract, and you got $30 million in cap space. Your front office is doing a good job as long as they're willing to spend it, and that's what I've said. Having that space is one thing, but always having it's like, great, we got a bunch of cap space. Great, we got a bunch of cap space. Well, we really could have used a right tackle last year to improve. So what are you going to do with that cap space? And with a small sample size of just one season, I don't think they're being misers about it. They're holding it and rolling it over and say, you know what, we're going to take our shot. And I mentioned this before on the gut reaction and all that type of stuff, but the re-signing of Sutton and Tim Patrick before you have your quarterback is brilliant. Before those guys go out there and go, 65 catches each for 1,200 yards and double their value. And they had to be convinced. There's no doubt in my mind. They had a recruiting visit with Peyton, the general manager. Hey, listen, we don't want to be here if this is what it's going to be like. The quarterback play isn't good enough. We want to go catch passes. Boys, we're going to take care of this. Gentlemen, we're going to take care of this. We're going to get your quarterback. Sign here. You will thank me later. Nathaniel Hackett, Zach last night was calling him lucky. How lucky is he? No. It's not just luck. It was being a very hot candidate who was reverse interviewing with George Paton. What are you going to do for the quarterback position?
Yeah.
George Paton answered. So next time George Paton speaks internally, his credibility is through the roof. So if he talks to a guy about, hey, this is what we're going to do, you're going to want to sign here, or he's talking to a guy in free agency, or he's talking about possible trades, his recruiting pitch just got 10 times stronger. And it's impressive. Again, that ESPN article with a D- for the front office, blow that out your yin yang. No freaking way. This is an A+. Plus.
There you go. Yeah, you know my reference there. I think you were laughing at that.
Good morning, Shane.
Yeah, morning, Nick and Scott. Still in shock over Wilson. Can't wait to watch his introductory press conference. Yeah, give me all the Russell Wilson corniness. If he wants to come at me live from his phone in his bed, morning, Denver, like just the really cringy kind of stuff, then I'm here for it, man. Inject it into my veins. If it comes
and
with
again, talking about, I think Shane's talking his introductory press conference, it's going to feel like it's happening all over again.
Yeah.
Right now it's, it, but you don't really know it.
Yeah.
Until you see him come up there and take that press conference, that brilliant smile of his. I mean, frankly, he's a good looking dude. He's going to get up there and just light the place up. It's going to be a lot of fun for y'all. I'm excited.
And I don't know how much of it is just the post. This is me being the cynic, just like you, but I don't know much how it is the post. This move is made so what paints everything in the best picture possible. But it really does sound like he did his research and this is where he wanted to go. And I think there's a lot to be said about somebody of that stature, that caliber, that pull, choosing the Denver Broncos organization, choosing this situation, because it's not just I'm here for now. It's I chose this. I am bought in. I am accountable for what happens now because I had a big influence on this. So lot of burden, I guess, on his shoulders, a lot of responsibility, but you want that with your franchise quarterback.
Yeah,
You
Nathan
need
says,
that.
to borrow a line from Hamilton, we got more than we gave, and we wanted what we got. So that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
You were just talking about the wanting, and I've said about this about recruiting. People have asked me, what makes recruiting, college football recruiting, so much fun? It's because wins are fluctuate. I might win this year, I might win next year. It goes back and forth.
Yeah.
But what better way to prove my own belief that I am better than you, that my team is better than yours, than that dude just chose me. I'm the pretty girl. I'm the handsome dude. I got it going on. He chose me. Ha ha.
Exactly.
That's a win. That's a win that we love as fans.
Yeah, and I can't wait to cheer for Russell Wilson next year in this team. Watch the offense score. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can I also get a round of applause, everyone? Today, I'm excited to announce that Manscaped launched their Ultra Premium Collection. Believe it or not, it's for your not-so-private parts. I'm talking about a leveled-up hygiene routine with your favorite manly scent. This is an all-in-one skin and hair care kit for the everyday man and covers you from head to toe, literally. Manscaped is trusted below the waist. Now make sure you trust them with the rest. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with the code MHH. They obviously have all the great products. I really like, I'm a simple man, and you know me, I like to get outdoors. I've been going through the pictures. I'm starting to get froth at the mouth thinking about getting outside again when it warms up and I can be on some alpine hike. And what I need out there, I can admit it, I'm a stinky boy. I can get a little bit sweaty down there, especially in the area. They have the Crop Mop, which is this really nice pH balancing wipe. It's individually packed, which is great if you're in the backcountry. And I brought it on all of my backpacking trips last year. It was the first thing that I would use before I'd even change into. I said, everyone get out of, or Natalie, I guess, or if I had a buddy with me, out of the tent. I got to take care of some business. Crop Mop, clean myself up, and make sure I'm clean and good to go. But that's obviously, check out Manscaped. They have a lot of other good products.
Well, I tell you what I like is, as you approach 50, which, let's say I am, you start losing hair in places you're used to having it, and you start growing it in places you don't want it to be. Hair. I had one time someone say I had crazy eyebrows. I'm like, they're blonde. You can't even see them. Well, yeah, you can. And having those little trimmers above the waist, they're a godsend, of course. I don't want people looking at hair coming out of my ears. You want me to feel my age? That's a good way to do it. So being able to take care of that stuff is a big help.
Yeah, 100% is a big help. So yeah, make sure you guys head over to manscaped.com and use the promo code MHH for 20% off and, great products there. And thank you for Manscaped for helping sponsor the show, and make sure you guys check them out. And it does us a heck of a lot of good too if you go to Manscaped and use the promo code MHH. So thank you guys for your support, and thanks Manscaped. We also got Nathan coming in here. Good morning, everybody.
We hit that one already.
Well, Nathan, you're so good. I wanted to hit you twice. We also got Peter Middleton coming in.
Not that we don't love you, Nathan. And it was a good thing. Again, I feel like it was. I do. I feel like it was a good trade for Seattle. You got to take into account that Russell wanted to leave.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got 2 first-round picks, 2 starters, a solid veteran quarterback for a one-away player.
Yep.
It's not all that bad. Who's 34, 33, 34 years old. That's not that bad. It's not.
I agree.
Peter says, and again, we have 6 picks between 64 and 152. Now, Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, and listeners in the chat, where have I said the fun part of this draft is? Is it in the top 10?
No.
Or is it in the second and third rounds? Now, you're not quite as high in the second round.
Yeah.
But it's that 25 to 100 group that I'm so excited about, that you want to have a bunch of picks. And 6 picks between 64 and 152 in this class, you're going to get some help. I promise you, you're going to find some help, especially if you bundle a couple of those together and move up into that 32, 33 range, 40 range. Maybe Travis Jones is there and you drop him in at nose guard. I'd give up a couple picks for Travis Jones.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't know if I would. I think it depends on where he falls. The thing is,
in the 40s, dude, would you give up 64 and 80 to get Travis Jones? Yes, you would.
Probably. The reason I pushed, I
depends on who else is there, but
Yeah, and the reason is this is about to become a free agent destination roster, and you know what you need if you are a free agent destination roster? You need cheap depth guys on cost-controlled contracts for over periods that can fill in if you have injuries. It's what the Rams have done. While the Rams haven't picked in like the top 120 years, it seems like they've had a lot of picks in that back end that have been really important for them for the depth of their roster, and also has allowed them to approach and sign free agents or their own guys because they have cost-controlled players. So if you're giving up 2 cost-controlled players in that top 100 range, you better love that guy to go up and get him. Now, and they might, that's for sure, but I would just for the sake of how they're going to have to build this team, especially with Russell Wilson probably having a contract coming down the line, the more the picks, the better, because you want to make sure you can fill out the last 10 spots of the roster, the last 15 spots of the roster with young, cheap, cost-controlled guys.
Yeah, you can get veteran minimum guys too that aren't going to count against the cap, that are out there that can help too. There's lots of ways. The point is you've got flexibility, you've got talent, you got your quarterback, you're in a pretty good spot. But you're looking at 64, 75, and 96. You could use an inside linebacker. What about Troy Anderson in one of those spots?
Maybe. Yeah, absolutely.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, he would. I think my propaganda for this offseason, I was building up towards it, was a safety being a need. I had a talk with a Broncos source of mine the other day, and it sounds like Ejiro Evero is a man after my own heart. Not so much with the blitzing talk, but he is not a big proponent of the off-ball inside linebacker position. If he could, he would play 0 of those guys. He would play all defensive backs and all defensive linemen. Essentially, is what it's obviously some hyperbole there, but that's the sense that I got, and that's a man after my heart because the off-ball linebackers.
If I got a starter in that spot in the 3rd round with 4.4 speed, Troy Anderson would be pretty nice. I'm not 100%. Talking about 1st round. I'm not talking about number 9.
Yeah, and there's
number 9. Number 9's wearing number 3.
Yeah,
quote me on that one.
Yeah, and absolutely, and there's a lot of good linebackers in this class too.
And good morning, Travis. Thank you for the support. Appreciate you being here. I know you guys have been here. Some of these faces have been here as much as in all of these shows. So I'm here at all of them. So I've seen you in all of them. So you guys are amazing.
Yeah, 100%. Miguel Santasteven coming in here. Sup, fellas? It's a great day on this snow day in New Mexico. Is there any good offensive tackles in free agency? This is a really good point to kick us off here. A lot of other people did want to say hi to, but Miguel, we want to get to you first. Are there any good offensive tackles in free agency? When I went over the list of the potential right tackles in free agency,
you always have to look at the left tackles too. So just look at tackle, because the guys that play right sometimes get thrown in the left.
Yeah, they do. But just in general, the point still stands. The free agent market for offensive tackles, historically, this is the case, but it looks like it's going to be a case again this year, is pretty bleak. There's a lot of potential names there, but guys that I don't know if I would be looking to pay. You have Teron Armstead, but I think he's going to get an absolutely insane contract from a team that is extremely desperate. I don't know if you should be out there paying Teron Armstead, especially considering he hasn't been healthy for multiple seasons, so he's going to keep an eye on. Riley Reif hasn't been able to stay healthy. Nate Soldier has dropped off a bit. Trent Brown, I don't think, is a great scheme fit. Eric Fisher's been injured. So there's just not many good options. The name that sticks out to me is Morgan Moses, but I think he's actually going to have a pretty large market. So a little bit worried there. I know that everybody's going to be screaming this offseason, now go get Russell Wilson a right tackle. Why would you pay this position when you can't get a right tackle? You shouldn't. There's not, generic build a average right tackle out there in the market. So the Broncos pay a cornerback or a edge rusher more, and they haven't taken care of the right tackle position. It's not because they're not looking for one. It's because they looked and they were left wanting. So I don't think there are.
I'm starting to get a little more versed in some of the other teams. Yeah. I don't watch the other teams as much as you do. And there's a couple names that jump out at me. I liked Andrew Wiley at Kansas City. I thought he was okay. Was a starter and I'm just looking, how can your team get better without spending a ton? Do you want to spend a ton? Because my guy is still, PFF didn't like him so much, but I think he gave up 2 sacks on 1,200 snaps. It's Chuck's Okorafor. He's 24 years old.
Yeah.
Free agent out of Pittsburgh. That excites me. I like that guy. And then Matt Pryor with the Indianapolis Colts, a little crossover. I've been doing a little Colts work. Is a free agent who basically he played a lot better than Eric Fisher, another former Kansas City guy. He played better than him when he was with the Colts. He's a free agent, 27 years old. Okay. And then throw in Bobby Massey too. You're going to bring in more than one guy. You're going to bring in 2 tackles. Get some depth, get some competition, and then get a guy you think might be able to be a starter for a year. But, I see Chuck's Okorafor at 24 years old at Pittsburgh in the season that he had, and I'm like, all right, let's go to work here. You think he wouldn't want to come be part of this team?
He's definitely interesting. Another name that sticks out to me is Joseph Noteboom. I think the Rams are going to do everything they can to keep him in Los Angeles, but he is one that former TCU tackle liked him coming out 4 years ago, and he has a little bit of left tackle, right tackle versatility. With Andrew Whitworth retiring, I'm guessing the Rams will do what they can to keep him, but will be interesting to see. But right tackle, that's definitely one that is a position where I'm a little bit nervous, and it's fun to be nervous about right tackle instead of quarterback. I just want to say we've entered like first world problem stage of football team building. But that's a position where they might not make a splash at the position in free agency because of what the market dictates, but they need to bring in somebody as competency, because if you go into the draft and your plan is, if we don't get a starting right tackle at pick 64, we're in trouble. And I don't, Peyton's too smart for that. Peyton, you've heard interviews with Peyton. He's like, you fill out your needs prior to the draft. You never want to go in a position of weakness like that. So they won't do that. They'll let the board come to them. They won't be offensive tackle or bust at pick 64, which is just stupid. You can't think that way. But we'll see how it plays out. Clayton coming in supporting us.
Appreciate you, Clayton, with the stars. And Albert, you were great last night. Thanks for coming in. They said, I would think we could do 13-4 next season. For me, the floor would be, okay, what's acceptable? Because that question got asked yesterday, and I immediately thought, okay, 10-7 in a playoff berth. Okay, you're heading in the right direction.
Yep.
This isn't a one-year project. You're not all in. This isn't a Super Bowl or bust. This is a project. This is I want this to be sustainable. And with a young roster and a quarterback you can have for multiple years and plenty of cap room and all these draft picks, it should be. So for me, as long as the arrow's headed in the right direction, 10-7 playoff berth, I think that is an acceptable season. That should be the floor. Anything more than that, and I start having questions. Now, I'm not firing anybody or doing anything like that, but I've got some questions. If you're not better than 9-8, and could you go 13-4 next season? Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Why not?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Why not?
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. The Broncos do play the obviously tough AFC West next year. They have the last place scheduled of the AFC West, but it's still tough. And the other division they play, it's unfortunately for Denver, the toughest in the NFC West. Really good football there. I guess west of the Rockies coming up here this season. We've got Jason Peters coming in. I doubt they'll be there at 64, but who would you choose between Travis Jones and Boye Mafe? Yeah, man, God, this is a tough one. I honestly don't know. The real answer is what happens in free agency first, because if you bring in a good defensive
That's
tackle,
cheating. Tell me, who do you want?
Oh, man. I probably lean Boye Mafe just because of the athletic upside and the positional value. I think you can find competency at the defensive tackle spot much easier than you can find competency at the edge spot. And the edge spot is going to be more impactful regardless, because they're more likely to rush the passer just given their alignment. But, man, this is you could ask me again in 5 minutes and I might answer differently.
I'd probably go Travis Jones. I think he's more of a sure thing at 64. I'm not worried too much about the upside as much. I love Boye Mafe. I take him at 40.
Yeah.
When that comes around, high second round, I'd be happy with it. It's one of those, put both names in a hat and draw one, and I'm like, I win. That's how I feel about that. But I'd probably go Travis Jones. I think he's farther ahead. I think he does more to help the guys around him. So I think you're just getting better playing next to Travis Jones, where I'm not sure that Travis Jones improves everybody else like that. But I'd seriously be happy with both. But I would probably go the big man.
Yeah. And the other thing with, for me, Boye Mafe, is that this Broncos team is probably going to be one that puts up points. And I think if you're playing that really tough, grinded out games, Travis Jones makes more sense to try to stop the run game and make sure you get more third downs. But I think you're going to have, with Russell Wilson, you're going to have better pass rushing opportunities where the team is going to be 5-step drop, 7-step drop, zero protection kind of situation, all bodies out in space. So get the pass rusher in. But either of them, they'd be great. Neither are going to be there at 64. Travis Weber coming in. Good morning, Nick and Scott and Broncos. What are your thoughts on about Chris Harris Jr. returning? Mixed feelings myself. Yes, we need defensive backs, and he felt spurned by Denver, but doesn't sit well with me how he trash-talked Denver. And this is for Scott. Falcons need a wide receiver. Do you think Atlanta will take a stab at Lockett or Cooper despite their cap issues? So first, how do I feel about Chris Harris Jr. coming back to Denver? He's a scheme fit. He's a smart player. His play has started to drop off. But Broncos need a nickel player with some intelligence. If he comes for decently cheap, I'm interested. I'm not looking for a massive contract, but I'm also not looking to pay him, vet minimum. I don't think he'd accept that. But he's older and his play has started to fall off and he's had some injuries. I don't really care that he trash talked Denver on the way out. I think that was more pointed to John Elway and how the cap situation worked out there. But if he can come here and help the Broncos win games, I have no issue with it. I'll welcome him back. And it's always good to bring, it's a good story. Undrafted free agent out of Kansas of all programs, and he plays as good as Chris Harris Jr. has. That's a lot of fun. It'd be fun to have him back. Also, Chris has been one of the best interviews of any of the players the Broncos have had. He's very intelligent, well-spoken, doesn't do that coach speak. He's genuine with the media, which I've always really appreciated with Chris Harris.
And will the Falcons, who need a wide receiver, need 3 wide receivers, go after Lockett or Cooper? No. By Ridley getting suspended, that knocked $11 million off of their cap, which put them 2 over. Yep. So they were negative. I think they might be to 3, maybe 4 plus 4. They were 7 in the hole before that happened. So they can't afford that.
Yeah, Leroy coming in. Good morning, guys. I read an article stating that a head coach and a general manager said Russell Wilson is a below-average quarterback, and the Broncos are stupid to give up so much for him. What do you guys think? I guess we're fixing to find out. Russell Wilson, there has not been a quarterback his size playing this late in their career that much, where you're given this much up, right? So you are entering somewhat unprecedented waters here, but Russell Wilson is still a dynamic arm talent athlete and has a lot of skins on the wall, so to speak. This is a swing. And also this is a swing the Broncos almost had to make. There is risk to it no matter what, giving up the capital they did, especially when you're probably going to have to pay him right around the corner here as well. But this team was set up where if you didn't take the swing, you are stuck in absolute no man's land. You're trading for Carson Wentz. You're trading for Jimmy Garoppolo. And that's just, you're capped there. You're making a move at that point to, God, I hope it works. Let's make a move. No, this is actually being aggressive, going out there and getting a sizable upgraded top 10 perennial quarterback. Will it work out? We'll see. Maybe those guys will be right. I also remember when the Broncos signed Peyton Manning, a lot of people were like, wow, I can't believe they signed him. His arm's going to fall off 1 game into the season. And he played 4 more years. So we'll see.
Yeah, there's going to be doubters out there. Let me guess. Head coach and general manager didn't have a name. That was an unnamed source. Yeah. Nobody's going to put their name next to that one unless they're just trying to draw attention. But stupid to give up too much for him. I don't think they gave up that much for him. And let's go back to what I was saying earlier with having 2 years on his contract. Not only would I try and get that deal done after this year so I can stack up my roster with free agents this year, it would also give me a year to make sure that, hey, we got the right guy before I go and give him a 4-year, $200 million contract extension. Yeah. So 100%. It would hedge. And if it doesn't work out, you're only 2 years in before you got your first rounders back.
Yeah.
You gave up a lot, but you didn't give up mortgage the future. You did not ruin your future chances. At worst, you were going to be anyway in 2 years. You're going to need a quarterback in 2 years because it didn't work out with Russell Wilson. Okay, well, I'll get my first rounders back and we'll dive back in. Yep. And I still have a lot of money.
Yep, absolutely. Edward coming in. Good morning, Broncos country. A lot of people coming in here. The morning shows are really taking off. I love you guys. It's a lot of fun.
We got 350 concurrent coming in right now. So appreciate all of y'all. And if you're new, even if you're not and you haven't, make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube or, making sure you're liking the page. I think we've got about 90 on Facebook right now and 250 watching on, and we got 5 on Twitch. So hello to our Twitch folks. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen.
100%. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you hit the like button as well above us. Edward saying good morning. Who do you think we're going to target in free agency? Broncos are going to go after an edge rusher, period. That one I can guarantee. After that, it's going to depend on what the market looks like. They could bring in a linebacker. It sounded like to me they were talking with Josie Jewell's camp. Maybe now the Josie Jewell's camp is asking for a little bit more than the Broncos want to pay before free agency. They want to see how it kind of plays out and what the other options look like.
Good for him.
Yep, good for him. I really hope he gets that bag. He just had a second kid, former 0-star recruit from Decorah, Iowa. Go Hawks, man. I love Josie.
He's a free agent. He has that right. I don't think his market's going to be that great as an inside linebacker coming off a season-ending injury. Even if it wasn't a leg injury, I don't think his market's going to be huge. So would he be willing to take a little less to not move and stay in Denver with all the excitement? Probably. How much less? I don't know.
The wind says Minnesota. Ed Donatel loves him, and he's close to Minnesota.
You mentioned that one before. That makes sense. Yep. And Brandy Buckner coming in. Welcome, Brandy.
Hello, Brandy.
So I cannot wait to see Russ play now. Improve our offensive line. Improve our offensive line. Bring Vaughn home, and our team will be complete.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk about Vaughn coming back, and a lot of it is coming from
Vaughn.
Vaughn.
God, amazing. Yeah, I mean, I think Vaughn's always a hype guy. You know, you could have somebody come in and you could be wearing the world's ugliest sweater and he's gonna say, dude, that's the coolest thing I ever saw in my life. Let's go out there. We're gonna have a great night. You know, that's Vaughn's personality. You gotta have a hype man out there. We'll see if it actually comes to fruition. It sounds like Rams are gonna get first crack at him to retain him. We'll see. Either way, Von Miller, Chandler Jones, et cetera, et cetera. Broncos are going to be aggressive in bringing in an edge rusher because they have to. Bradley Chubb, you can't rely on him. Malik Reed is a backup at best, you know, a situational pass rusher type. Stephen Weatherly's a free agent. Maybe they bring him back for cheap if they can flip Malik Reed for a 6th-round pick or something like that, because considering he's an RFA. And Jonathan Cooper, I like Jonathan Cooper. Doesn't really have the size or athletic profile to keep people. He's a rookie. Oh, he's going to keep getting better every year. He's already pretty developed with his hands, and he's not an athletic freak. I don't think there's much more room to grow for Jonathan Cooper. So you need to bring in an edge rusher.
And I love people like Vaughn because I'm such a cynic. You
Yeah.
know, I've tried not to put that onto my kids. I'm like, you'll figure out later that people can be bad.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put that on you.
Yeah.
And because, you see people like that sometimes and you're like, man, this person's such a phony. Wait a minute. Crap.
Yeah.
He really is that nice.
Yeah.
I love him now. Okay, I'm sorry. I had that my cynicism. He really is that nice. Jacob coming in with the more stars. Jacob, you rock. Again, I know you're gonna. Now it's just like become a thing for him. Now he's like, I'm never gonna ask a question because they want me to. Now they put me on the spot.
It's a bit.
So anything you need from us, Jacob, you let us know. You've been a big supporter of the show, and we love you for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I also saw that. Here we go. Lawrence Rivera. There's a big one. I love the praise for Peyton, but still got to translate on the field, not just on paper. If we go 0-3 at the beginning, the fans will be lost. I don't think the fans will be lost. I mean, the Broncos started 2-3 with Peyton Manning, and then it was off to the races. You gotta play the full season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I want to succeed so bad, but it's just what I hear trash talking sites. That's the hate I see, and I'd like to make everyone aware. I agree there are haters, but sometimes there are good points. Not even I can argue differently. Give them to me, Lawrence. I will argue differently because
there's doubts. We'll argue all of them.
should.
There are doubts. Okay, he's coming off an injury. Is he going to be the same guy? Did you give up too much?
Yeah.
All those are questions. But I'm going to judge now based on the information we have and saying this was a brilliant freaking move.
Yeah.
If it fails, I'm going to say, listen, I was wrong. We were wrong. At the time, I thought it was a brilliant freaking move. I'm not going to change how I grade this deal based on hindsight because right now it makes a ton of sense. The risk, that Chad says it all the time, and I get it from the girl next to the movie, The Girl Next Door. Is the juice worth the squeeze? Well, right now you got a big old lemon you're squeezing. You're making lemonade. So hopefully for sure. So Trevor coming in. Thank you, Trevor. You know who else is coming in with much even bigger coffee? Now I can get the bigger size. Is Mark again. Said it headed to Dallas to pick up the wife at the airport. I'll be listening but can't participate. Appreciate you both. Well, we appreciate you. Drive safely. Glad hopefully your wife gets home safely and all that type of stuff. And I hope she knows, or maybe that she doesn't know, that you're such a big help to our show. So appreciate you, Mark, and be safe out there.
Yeah, absolutely. US Dave, everyone getting so far ahead of themselves. How many Lombardis are we projected to win? Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. No, it's going to be, it'll be fun. We'll see. The thing is, the Broncos are in the conversation now. They have a good enough quarterback.
Your chances are better than they were a week ago.
Yep. You answered the first. I don't know if you guys anybody in here does any coding or anything, but really it's a stop function where it's a yes, no. You do not proceed. Do the Broncos have a good enough quarterback? Before, sorry guys, anybody out there, it was probably no. Stop. Good luck. We'll see you next year. Answer that question next year. Now do the Broncos have a good enough quarterback? I would say yes. Now the next question is the infrastructure around the quarterback. And I'm laughing so hard at all these people. Oh, what a bold move by the Broncos to get the 3rd best quarterback in the AFC West. You're talking about a guy who's a top 8, 10 quarterback in the league. I'm sorry that you have Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert in your division, but you have a good enough quarterback. Now it comes down to what you do around that guy to maximize them.
The top 2 guys didn't make it past the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
There you go. So, and again, I think there's an argument for any one of the 3. I do. Not like before with Aaron Rodgers and back-to-back MVPs. I don't. It's maybe Mahomes and maybe Rodgers. Okay. I'd go with the back-to-back MVP personally.
100%.
But I wouldn't argue with if you like Mahomes. Mahomes is a magician, but
Yeah.
Herbert's not in that conversation just yet. He's not. As much as I like Josh Allen, not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. On any given day, yes, but across 17 seasons, across a 4-game possible playoff run, not yet.
Yep.
So again,
Yeah, we got
whatever.
Trevor.
There's going to be
coming.
hot takes out there. I'm not
Yeah.
changing. Again, this could all blow up. It could. There's no certainties. I don't have a crystal ball. Can I get my Rich Eisen thing? That was funny. I hope McDaniels works down in Miami.
Miami.
Yeah, I hope he works in
kind of-
Miami. It's one of those again. It's fun now as long as you're winning. Otherwise, it's
honeymoon phase.
Yeah. So, but it does.
Trevor,
Nick, do
real
you see
quick.
them getting Trey McBride, the tight end from Colorado State, in the second round?
If he's there at 64, I think you have to consider it. That being said, if you look historically, Russell Wilson has not been a quarterback who has maximized the tight end position. So I don't think everybody's like, oh, we lost Noah Fant. Now we have to go out there and pay big money for a tight end or draft a tight end early. No. You do not have to
with that
do
argument
that.
in Calvin Ridley and a wide receiver. No, just because you lost somebody doesn't mean you didn't have holes before. I've got a hole here, and now I have a new hole here. Well, I still have this hole over here that I have to fill first. That's more important than the tight end.
Yes, absolutely. And also the thing when you're bringing in Russell Wilson, it makes Noah Fant more expendable because, and as good as Noah Fant is, he's probably more valuable elsewhere when you don't have Russell Wilson as your quarterback. Yes, you'd rather have good players at every single position, but historically, Noah Fant has not been Russell Wilson has not maximized the tight end position in comparison to the vertical down the field explosive plays that you're getting from the wide receivers on the boundary. I'm really curious to see what it looks like with the RPO heavy offense and the quick pass game. Hasn't typically been Russell Wilson's forte, but with Nathaniel Hackett, a lot of the quick pass game is outside the numbers still. So I think it's going to be a little different. But you don't have to force a tight end there. It's not a position where he is Russell Wilson has maximized it, and you're probably getting more value on return trading Noah Fant in this scenario than you are what he's doing here with Russell Wilson. So you could bring in a tight end. That's fine. I think it's much more of a day 3 pick where you're bringing in somebody who you really like as a blocker to help you in those 12 personnel situations, but you don't have to go out there and bend over backwards to get a tight end. It's just not happening.
All right, Ethan coming in with the threes, and I'm with you on this. 3 is my number.
Yep.
3.
There we go.
3 is my number. How about I'm getting a 4th rounder back again to pull this off and remain relatively cap neutral.
Yeah.
And have all of this flexibility, plus getting a 4th rounder in a draft where you could get an interior offensive lineman that could help, that could get an inside linebacker that could help, to find another wide receiver for depth with a 4th rounder. It's just, again, masterclass. This was a George Paton masterclass. Will it blow up? Maybe. Again, there are no sure things in life. This, if I'm grading this, A+. No doubt in my mind.
Yep. It's a swing they had to take. There is no drafting a quarterback this year. You're talking about, maybe Malik Willis is a top 10 quarterback 2 years from now. Well, guess what? Your core has phased out by then. So you need to be running the next 3 years. And here we are. Your window starts today. You have holes, no doubt. You lost some draft capital and some good players. I still don't really understand the Shelby Harris part of the trade, really, for Seattle, but that's we can talk about that later. I
read it on theirs, and they had a big need at that spot. And maybe that's the contract they had to take on. That was George Paton's insistence. He's a good player. He'll get motivated again and come play out there. He can help him for sure.
Yeah. He just for the contract wise and the age, I don't understand anything besides giving them competency this season, but the Seahawks are probably a team that should be bouncing off the floor this year. But we'll see. Dakota Marquez coming in $5 over on YouTube. Thank you so much, Dakota. From the bottom of the AFC West to Danger Russ. Broncos country, blessed. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dakota. It's going to be a lot of fun this year. I cannot wait for hanging out with you guys after the games. It would be heck of a lot of fun. We're going to have so much fun leading up to it too. The hype's going to be real. It's not going to be this, maybe something could happen because you never know. The future's not written yet. Anything could happen. Now you have a priors that you can lean on that say, this isn't just, hopes and dreams. This is a potential reality that we have coming in front of us now. So it's going to be a lot of fun. God, the AFC West games are going to be incredible too. I can't wait. Vincent coming in here, $20, flashing orange on us. Thank you so much, Vincent. What happens when Wilson goes down in the first 2 games with an injury? Everyone, knock on wood. Vincent, what are you doing? You gave us $20, so I have to read it, but don't say that. Who will back him up? right now the Broncos don't have a backup quarterback, but free agency hasn't even started yet. So we'll find out here soon enough. I think the Broncos will draft a quarterback day 3 at some point in this cycle to get a young, cost-controlled guy that they want to maybe develop, maybe a Clint Kubiak project of sorts, especially because Russell Wilson probably not going to need that much coaching development-wise, for the skills side of things. So they'll probably bring in a quarterback there. And I'm guessing they'll bring in a cheap guy as well in free agency. It brings me back to Tom Moore, former longtime offensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts, who the press asked him, "Hey, Peyton Manning's getting every single rep in practice. Why aren't you giving the backups any reps?" And Tom Moore essentially said, "Listen, that guy's our franchise. If he goes down, it doesn't matter anyway. We're not going anywhere. So this guy's going to get all the reps. Jim Sorgi? You want Jim Sorgi taking reps from Peyton Manning? No, dumb." So
are you
that's
interested in playing Kellen Mond behind Kirk Cousins? No, I've seen him. Most teams are in this position, Vincent.
Yeah.
If their starter goes down, they're screwed.
Yeah.
A lot of them take up a quarter of their salary cap. They've poured multiple resources in trying to get the guy. If their starter goes down, they're in trouble. That's just the risk you take. Does that mean you shouldn't take the risk? No, it doesn't. You gotta try and go out there. And let me catch up on some of our Facebook friends. I'm so far behind that I'm losing them here.
Okay.
So let me catch up on some of our Facebook guys. Like Travis say, don't worry, left our Broncos in great shape. Peyton was a home run hire, without a doubt. I saw some of the, you got Vaughn, got Peyton, got Peyton. The Elway's legacy is secure with the Denver Broncos, without a doubt.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing too that we really want to give credit to for Elway here is while he didn't get the quarterback position right after Peyton Manning, he never put them in a situation where they were losing their flexibility. I would say the worst one is probably the Case Keenum deal because they paid for mediocrity, and that one kind of hurt a bit, but is what it is. We got Lawrence coming in saying, should Russ wear 12 for how many QBs we had before him? 12 is a good number, but I don't think it's a good one for Denver. I hope he wears that 3. Also, then everybody with their lock jerseys can just take that name patch off the back.
That's what Albert did last night. He's got Wilson. I don't know if you got to see, but Albert Knoppers already has his Wilson across the back of his 3 jersey. So
and we already showed this one, but thank you, Trevor.
From Cambodia. Peter, with the time changes, Peter was sleeping through all this, which was kind of funny. It's nice to wake up to. I said, ironically, I woke up to it too because I was asleep when Chad called me. He's like, "Can you go live now?" I'm like, "Who is this? What day is it?
What year is this?"
Russell Wilson. I'm awake, baby. I'm awake.
This is a dream. Thank you so much. I wanted to give a shout out to our Broncos country ladies here, Mile High Huddle ladies. Hattie coming in. Head coach in the GM was probably from the Washington Commanders, talking about the trade there for Wentz. God, that's
a great shout, Hattie. Yeah. That is a great shout. He, the guy that turned him down after you offered 3 first-rounders and half your franchise, and he turned him down. He wasn't that good anyway. My daughter's team. Sorry to interrupt you, Nick, but that she got me with that one. My daughter's softball team, they've got 12 teams in the league. It's a big park. And they're allowed to name their own teams. And one of the team names is Sour Grapes. And that's what, the Washington Sour Grapes. I don't know if we should call them the Commies or the Sour Grapes. I'm okay with either. I am. Great shout, Hattie. Thank you for coming in and participating.
Yeah, the Washington Laughing Stocks. That's maybe I don't know, the Washington Clowns. Nathan coming in, $5 again. Colts now have the most cap space after shipping Wentz to Washington. They missed out on Russ. Matt Ryan to the Colts. That one makes sense for me. The issue is the Colts don't have a first-round pick this year. But I think that, that would be a great fit for Matt Ryan. I hope it, no, I don't hope it happens because I don't need another quality quarterback in the AFC. But for Matt Ryan's sake, that would be a great fit for him. Good offensive line, good run game, can come in and run the offense pretty quickly. I am curious with how much RPO the Colts have used, what that looks like with Matt Ryan, but he's a smart, competent quarterback. He'd be a good fit there. I just don't know what the maybe it's less trade capital and the Colts, toss them some cash for some cap rooms and get the books right.
The Colts don't have a first, but now they've got, they've got 5 picks in the top 150 now too. So do you send me a second? You send me your 42 and your 2023 first for Matt Ryan? I'm listening.
Yeah,
I'm listening. Again, the problem is with Matt Ryan, if they don't extend him beforehand, or if they do this before June, it's a $50 million dead cap hit. you're throwing in the towel, and I don't know if they've got the stomach for it. I really don't.
Yeah.
The Philly did it with Washington with last year with Wentz. Just eat it. And now they got 3 first-round draft picks, and they're cooking with gas.
Yeah.
Yes, please. I've already written off the 2023 season for the Atlanta Falcons. Quit the slow bleed. Okay, great. You're out there trying to rebuild your roster 1 player at a time, and now you're 7-10 again.
Yep.
Yay. Playing really bad football. No
Yep.
thanks.
Travis coming in, going back to offensive tackle. What about Laramie Tunsil or Chukwuma Okorafor? Chooks makes some sense. He's still really young. Good mover. I think he's actually a good fit for the outside zone scheme. We'll see what his market is like. He's never been great. I would be a little bit skeptical to pay him big money because he's young and ascending. It's like, oh, he's got the size. He's young. He's got athleticism. Let's toss him top 10 offensive right tackle money. Ooh, he hasn't done it yet. That's a little scary to do. And sometimes people make stupid moves at the tackle spot because they're desperate. Hello, Juwan James. Hello, Menelik Watson. Man, right tackle for Broncos has been a whoopee cushion, so to speak. Laramie Tunsil, he interests me a bit, but man, you are talking. I don't know. I think the Texans are probably looking for a first-round pick back. Broncos don't have that. And also, are you moving Garrett Bowles to right tackle? I would be okay with that, but I think probably there are other options out there. I'm honestly the guy I have circled right now that I'm watching with bated breath, frothing at the mouth a little bit is Lael Collins at the Cowboys. Cowboys are in some cap trouble. I know their offensive line is one that they're looking to improve upon, but his contract is pretty hard for them to swallow. Don't pay running backs big long-term deals, folks. Zeke Elliott has pretty much killed that Cowboys roster. That contract of his, he's worse than their backup running back right now, honest to God, whose name is escaping me. Really good player from Memphis. But Lael Collins is one to keep an eye on as well.
And Okorafor played at $2.2 million last year, which was a big raise for him.
Yeah.
$6 to $7 million at right tackle.
3 years.
You're tripling his money. Now, I don't want him to go from 2 to 18, but I would definitely pick up the phone and see what his agents might say. Listen, he's getting offers of 10 right now. Okay, well, call us back if you want to talk 6.
Mm-hmm.
And Phil, appreciate the stars, my friend.
Thanks, Phil. We had some more supers coming in too. You guys have been killing it today. If you guys haven't done so yet, make sure that you hit the like button on the way. And we're at 60, which is incredible. It says 418.
And remember, those are just Facebook.
Just Facebook.
Only the Facebook likes come through. So someone will have to tell us. I think we're on 80, so we're at over 140 overall likes.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ethan, again. I told you the Commanders were desperate at quarterback, Scott. Wentz, yikes. Oh, man. Think there's an alternate reality out there
that's
where
a punishment.
Yeah.
The Indianapolis Colts don't like Carson Wentz. Like Irsay wouldn't even talk to him on the way out. They're like, we don't want to clear the air. Just get rid of his butt.
Yeah.
And if I don't like somebody, you know where I'm going to send them? Washington. Yeah. So they got a couple second-round picks. They got a second-round pick. They got a couple picks out of it. But you know what else they got? They got $28 million off their cap. Washington's picking up the entire bill.
Yeah.
So they flushed a first-round draft pick down the toilet, but got decent quarterback play from him this year. 27-7 is not bad for touchdowns, interceptions. Decent play. It cost them. They took a swing. It cost them 1 first-round pick in the, let's see, where are they picking? About 19, in the teens. Yeah, that hurts. That stings a little bit. But now he's gone. Clean slate. And I got $28 million back. My God.
Yeah.
I'm so used to watching the Falcons bargain shop that I'd be real interested to see what they could do with $28 million. They'd turn that into 8 players.
Yeah.
That's all what they did with $3 million in Cordero Patterson. Of course, I also saw, well, no, that wasn't Dante Fowler was Dimitrov. So that was a mistake.
Yeah. Well, it's maybe Dante Fowler is a Bronco for cheap 1-year deal. I think you're going to see a lot of mercenary type of contracts coming in here for the Broncos, and Peyton's been a good businessman, shrewd to date. So we'll see what happens. Glenda Lee, so much new energy. Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us, Glenda, over on Facebook. Always want to shout out our Mile High Huddle ladies in here. Travis coming in. I don't know if Vaughn is teasing a return, but I'm all for him coming back and being the role where was. Wouldn't mind Bobby Wagner as well. I think Bobby Wagner is probably going to get a bigger deal than the Broncos are looking to spend at the off-ball linebacker spot. Again, talking with somebody yesterday connected to the Broncos organization, it does sound like the Broncos are actually feeling okay about the combination of Baron Browning, Jonas Griffith, and Micah Kaiser. They'll bring in another body somewhere in the draft or in free agency as well, but they're going to be much more comfortable with what the roster looks like currently at that second level of the defense for the linebackers than the fans are. And that's okay with me. Now that the Broncos have a quarterback, I need to find a new shtick. It can't just be, if you don't have a top 10 quarterback, you're toast. We're not toast anymore, guys. We're a nice croissant or something. A nice
I've been
loaf
eating
of bread.
cinnamon raisin bagels with real butter. They're nice.
There you go. I always loved it with the strawberry cream cheese with the cinnamon raisin. Weird combination, but my mom put me on it. Really good. But now my new bit is the off-ball linebacker doesn't matter. It
JJ
does
made me
matter.
laugh.
But
JJ made me laugh with this one. Scott's veins pop out in his head when asked dumb questions. Usually when I'm responding to other, because we don't answer we don't get a lot of dumb questions in here, at least
No.
not the ones that we show.
Yeah.
But you'll get me fired up every once in a while for sure.
Yeah.
For sure on this. That you made me laugh on that one, Jay.
Yeah, and we got Mark Anthony coming in. I always love the picture of the pup rocking the Bronco bandana as well. I got my pup here next to me in the kennel. He's being mostly good. Sometimes he gets a little nervous and looks on his paws. I wish he wouldn't do that so much. Summit, leave it.
David coming in with some stars. Appreciate you, David. David, I don't think we got to get to all of yours yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know. We had over 100 in 60 minutes last night, different ones. So we tried to combine some. And I promise you, we'll remember. We'll make it up to you over the course of the next duration that will be on air. So thank you for the support. We certainly appreciate you.
Here, keep going, Scott. I'm looking up a data point right now.
Okay, Retro Rob. That feels new. Where are you, Retro Rob? 9 minutes ago would be 17. Where are you, Retro Rob? Here you are coming in. That feels like a new name for me. Do we know Retro Rob? We do now. So appreciate you coming in and supporting the show. And see Patrick Havner also coming in with some stars. And sometimes I miss some of these as I'm scrolling down. And David, going back to the question of your quarterback going down, the bigger question is who do you put in if Pookie and Mike Boone go down? No. You lose Russell Wilson, just pack it in. Yeah, pass it. I'd if I got my choice on that, I'd much rather. I don't want anybody getting hurt, but I'll replace a running back faster than a starting quarterback.
Yeah, 100%. You can find running backs. Broncos are going to bring in a running back somewhere in free agency or the draft, but you're talking about getting pretty far down the line. I mean, we could do that for every position. What happens if Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, and Tim Patrick and KJ Hamler get hurt? Like, at that point, sorry, football gods were angry at you for something. Maybe they're angry at the Broncos for circumventing quarterback hell like other teams. I mean, gosh, you got the Cleveland Browns yesterday, apparently making a pretty big offer for Kyler Murray, supposedly, allegedly. That's a team that's been in quarterback purgatory since Bernie Kaiser was their quarterback. I mean, God. We got Noah Fant in the thumbnail.
Yeah, we're making a change. I said I had Ethan send me a picture so I can put DWI guy's picture in our banner, but no, I did put in a request. I did put in a request for Pookie and Russell Wilson, because if you haven't seen it, there's a nice graphic going around on our Twitter that Nick and I were tagged on. I think we liked. You might be able to find it of some of the new Russell Wilson imagery, and it's really good. I'll pull it up here if I get a minute.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But the Broncos, a lot of cap space, so it's gonna be excited to see what happens. We are approaching the 1 hour mark here, so make sure you guys get in your questions if you have them. Tina Fairchild helped me out here. It was Tony Pollard, the Dallas running back. Yeah, he is really liked him coming out, explosive, really good back for them. Elliott's fine. I mean, you really like the running backs that force teams into cover 3 or 7 guys in the box, which Elliott does that better than Tony Pollard. Some of that has to do with why is Elliott's efficiency down? Well, he's forcing the opposing defense to play differently than Tony Pollard is. And Tony Pollard then gets more space to create explosive runs, but really good running back. Maybe the Cowboys would have been better going back to the well in the draft, getting another big, bulging running back and pairing him with Pollard. I digress.
Yeah, appreciate the stars, Tina.
Yeah, thank you, Tina.
Yeah, also thank you very much. Not only helping the show, she's helping the show. So thank you very much.
She also says would love the Broncos to snag Sky Moore in the 3rd, as would I. I'm not expecting Sky Moore to be there. I think he's going to be in the 50.
It's hilarious. Glenda Lee comes in and says, "You two look 10 years younger today. Good times ahead." I have gotten like 4 consecutive nights of sleep after starting. Usually when I get a head cold / sinus infection, it's the first couple of days that are the worst. So I'm feeling much better. And I got it's match day, even though the crap news is coming from England right now, which we won't get into unless I'm asked specifically. It is match day. So match day always gets me excited.
Yeah. As it should. Good football, a lot of fun. Yeah, no, I definitely feel much better. I don't know if I need to look 10 years younger. That would mean I'm getting kicked out of bars, not even carded. Like that's definitely a fake. That's
I look 10 years younger until I take off my glasses, and it's like, oh yeah, he is his age. His eyes are rough.
Scott looks really good for an 82-year-old, guys. You guys need
Yeah,
to make
I
sure.
always say that. Don't ever lie younger, ever.
Yeah,
Man, if I told you I was 35, you'd be like, man, you look like hell. I look pretty good for 72. You know, I'm holding up pretty well. Yeah,
absolutely.
you are, man. You look great. If I said I was
It's
35, you'd be like, dude, you rode hard and put up wet.
absolutely. We got Salvi Nation coming in 3:33. That's a theme today. Loving it. We got Good Morning Broncos Nation. Scott Horrible PSG number 3 all day.
Oh, yeah, the PSG. If you don't, oh my goodness, we're gonna have to come back to this. But if the Falcons think that PSG is a bunch of chokers, if you want to talk about watching a poor team piss away leads on the biggest stages, Paris Saint-Germain is just epically bad at that.
Yeah, not great. Not great at all. Scott, go ahead. Take the lead on this one.
Ethan coming in with all the threes. So listen, I told you 3 was a big, and I'm we'll get a little personal on this one. I was born on the 3rd. I was the 3rd grandchild on both sides of the family. My first house apartment that I owned was was number 3. I got married on the 3rd. I quit drinking on the 3rd 20 something years ago. 3 is my number. We win the Champions League when a sponsor is 3. 3 is my guy, Dale Murphy, number 3. You know who else is my guy? Ethan, DWI guys. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 on the Super today. Keeping the lights on with the threes trifecta. So I feel like the TFARF, the trade for Aaron Rodgers fund, helped us get Wilson. I'm not going to argue with you. I'll take it. Worked out even better. What's on tap for the Monday draft show? Maybe I should start a Chelsea fund. They're for sale. You're going to have to buy it from the English government because they've been seized by the UK government. For those of you who are fans of government overreach, yeah, I'm pissed. Monday draft show. What is on tap? You know what? We're gonna have to figure out what I can use as a tracker, Nick, that will show up well here for people watching, and then we'll go through and we'll run through maybe 3 rounds. We'll speed the first, and we can go back and look at it. But we'll run through 3 or 4 rounds or up through that 150 pick. We can do that on Monday for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think Wednesdays
go through the draft, and then we can talk about who's available and who we would take, etc., etc. Ethan, you rock, man. Just awesome, and glad everybody's getting safe over there in your part of Europe for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And also shout out again, Salvi Nation. Thank you for the 333 super as well over on YouTube. Huana 3000 coming in. Isn't the sun shining a little brighter lately? It has been. No doubt about that. The clouds have departed. I think it's going to rain like crazy this weekend. I'm going to be in and at work, working in my office anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yes, the sun has been brighter. There's been a little bit more pep in my step. The coffee's a little bit richer.
Empty. I started early.
Yeah, I've been walking on cloud 9, and you know what part of it is? It's just it's fun. We said it on here 100 times. God, I cannot wait till we stop having to debate the potential of quarterbacks who, quite frankly, I don't fully believe in, based on priors. But I'm bought in now. I believe we can argue about offense tackle versus edge rusher versus another defensive back. It's the fun stuff now. It's the
find
details.
A Seattle Seahawks podcast to argue about Drew Lock in the chat. Yeah. Have at it. There are other places. I don't care anymore. He's not our problem anymore.
Yeah. David Carmelo coming in here. David, shout out to David. Always enjoy our conversations on Twitter. David has his own show as well. Going to be on his show at some point coming up here. I don't remember the exact date. Forgive me, David. To talk edge rushers. Now I can talk about it. Carefree. I was actually a little bit of in a sad space because I absolutely loved Travon Walker.
Chelsea is carefree. That's like their motto.
Yeah. I support the boys in blue. That's my team in the EPL. But I was actually a little bit bummed post combine because, I had heart eyes for Travon Walker. And now there's talk that he could go as high as number 2 overall. I've even heard some buzz that, hey, maybe watch out for the Jaguars paying Teron Armstead big money, kicking Cam Robinson over at right tackle, and going Travon Walker at number 1 overall. It's like, that's the level of athlete that he was at the combine, which is insane. But not coming at 9 anymore. David Carmelo, thoughts on Broncos signing Emmanuel Ogbah? I really like Emmanuel Ogbah. If his contract is not too expensive, I'm game. He is twitchy. He is super explosive and long. He is an oddity because he was the 32nd overall pick, but that was the second round because the Patriots forfeited their pick that season. Curse you, Bill Belichick, and you cheating son of a gun. But I like Ogbah. I think he's an interesting player. I'm not looking to pay him top 15 edge rusher money, which I think he might get given he still has. I think he's at his prime right now and still has some good years left in his prime. But he does interest me a good bit. I think if you don't get your Zadarius Smith, DeMarcus Lawrence, if they become available, the likes of Von Miller, Chandler Jones, Jadeveon Clowney has been a name the Broncos have been linked with as well. Ogbah makes some sense down the line.
28 years old, $7.5 million last year. He'll be due for a raise.
He was good
for sure. Malcolm Diego coming in said, "Let's go Broncos Nation" from the Bahamas.
Oh.
And they appreciate the sentiment. They do like being called Broncos Country. Actually, type in broncoscountry.com and let me know where it takes you. I made Chad buy it. It was available.
Really?
Yeah. Broncos Country. I was like, listen, I looked it up. It was like for sale. I'm like, dude, you buy this. He did. So broncoscountry.com takes you to Mile High Huddle.
Wow. That was Scott, you better get a piece of the pie for that one. That was a good call. That's business. That's a business. No, John Clay Evington coming in 1999. Good morning, gents. Waking up in the bright future of our beloved Broncos. Hope is now eternal. Peyton is a genius general manager. Yeah, gosh, I mean, it's so funny because I was in a pit after the Aaron Rodgers stuff. I don't know if you guys are following me on Twitter. I was in the pit of despair. It's like, oh, they're going to try to sell me Jimmy Garoppolo versus Drew Lock. I'm going to be hiking on Sundays because I cannot take that for my mental health. But now it's Russell Wilson. God, it's going to be incredible. I'm really excited. I hope, and also, this is inevitable because this is how fans are. Soon we're going to forget how frustrating the last 6 years were, and we're going to be at each other again, frustrated about something.
Yeah.
Something.
Russ isn't going to throw 4 touchdowns and no interceptions every game. He's
Yes.
going to struggle. He's going to have his bad games. He's going to, but again, with a 17-game season, this is more like baseball now, I'm telling you. I mean, it's
marathon.
It's win enough to get into the playoffs and then get right. That's the way it's turning into.
100%.
10-6 is your top baseball team.
Yep.
And this is becoming closer to baseball where you go 11-5, win enough. You're going to drop 5 that you'll be like, maybe one of those where you're outplayed, and some of those you're like, how did we lose to this team? One of the, I can't remember who it was. Was it the Bengals or somebody that lost? It was the Bills, lost to the Jaguars. But come time to get it right, they got it right.
Yep.
They got it right. John Clay, awesome. Good morning to you as well. Glad you could wake up. It's a fun time. This is going to be a fun offseason. I can't wait for spring practice. For OTAs, it's going to be standing room only type crowds.
Yep, 100%. And with things kind of entering a post-sick bug world, or whatever, the new normal, whatever it is.
I have been sicker this past 2 months than I have in the last 2 years.
Scott, you've been sick since birth. It's in the head, but no,
I'm not
me too.
Talking in the head.
Oh,
that doesn't count. I mean, actually ill. Well,
isn't it in the head technically?
Cleared up either, did it?
Physically, no. Michael Ronquillo, great show today, guys. For Broncos for Breakfast, Nick and Scott, go Broncos. Thank you so much, Michael. Big supporter of the show. Travis, also a big supporter of the show. Travis, I do want to apologize because I did like to talk Devin Lloyd there, and I was hopefully actually at some point maybe even going to say Devin Lloyd only ran a 4.7. I don't care. If he falls to pick 25, 28, maybe the Broncos should trade up for him and go get him. That's not happening now from pick 64. It's going to be okay. He's going to have fun. But Travis, don't forget to hit.
Travis is also shilling for us too. Don't forget to smash the like button, share, and subscribe.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Scott's over 30. Yeah, I am. The bad part is I said to Lance and Eric, I'm like, y'all are closer to my age, right? They're like, I'm 30. I'm 31. How come I look better than you two? Come on, boys. Get out in the sun.
Yeah.
Exercise. Little clean living here. No, I'm 49. So I've already poured 2 months into this year because my birthday's January 3rd. Again, 3, beginning of the year. And 49 is kind of a purgatory where you're like, all right, the countdown is now on. There's no hiding 50. I was okay with 40, but 50. I'm an old guy. I can start. Maybe I should stop acting like a 14-year-old when I turn 50.
Yeah. You reached your point of stagnation, maturity-wise, and that's okay. You can own it. As long as your wife's still loving you and your kids accept it, that's fine. My dad is not older than 12. He hates alcohol. Nothing makes him happier in the world than a big way too sugary drink of Kool-Aid. I mean, he's just a kid for real. He's a child. Love
We'd
him
get
though.
along. We're probably pretty close to the same age. I'm probably closer to his age than yours.
Yeah, he's he's a goober, but the goober doesn't fall far from the tree. Casey Mack coming in. Sorry if this has been answered already. If you heard of Noah, Shelby, and Locke have passed their physicals, I haven't heard. I'm assuming they have. Otherwise, there would be more news on that. But I have not heard the specifics on the physicals. I know that Noah was dealing with an ankle injury last year, but not to the extent where I don't think he passed a physical.
Yeah, I don't think they're expecting any problems. I think we're just waiting on the 16th or 17th when they can announce the deal officially.
Yeah.
Broncos first in the draft. He hasn't changed it. You haven't changed it yet. I know you're going to. I want 17-0 back. What about 21-0? I mean,
There
come
we go.
on. This is. I think I go through mood swings. Broncos first in the draft is. We're either 17-0 or by God we're finishing dead last.
Yeah.
And it is a new dawn, and it's the Broncos sunrise. Fit your picture. And again, you've been one of our first and early supporters. We're coming up on a year of doing the show. You've been with us from the beginning. Appreciate you being here. And you're one of the reasons we are still here. So thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. This one's for everybody. Like I said, have fun paying Wilson $50 million next year. I'm not going to be paying him anything, so I will have fun. Thank you so much, Mike Thon.
Yep.
That's
and if he earns it, so be it. You know,
Yeah.
what's not fun is paying a guy $6 million and he stinks. That's no fun at
100%.
all. You know what hasn't been fun for Broncos country the last 6 years? That hasn't been fun. So if he earns that contract, and he's done a lot to earn it so far, I think people will celebrate it for sure.
100%. Jacob Foster coming back in for the support. Thank you so much, Jacob. It's great to see you. We appreciate you, all the support that you have. Colin Wood coming in too. Our receivers may be a downgrade from what Russ is used to. DK Metcalf is really good, but he's also very specific at what he does. He's running nines on the boundary. He's not really, and he's okay on the cutback routes or the out routes or the digs, but this was the thing in the combine. I don't know if you remember everybody freaking out about how big and fast he ran in a straight line in the explosives. And then he did the 3-cone and it's like, oh, this guy turns like a battleship, which is, that's fine for his role because you don't need a wide receiver to do every single thing, but he is specific in what he does. Tyler Lockett, I really do like Tyler Lockett, but let's be honest with it. His injuries have been an issue, and he's reaching that point of his age where it's like the speed, the twitch is probably questionable with the injuries, age catching up with him. Still really good. I really like him a lot, but I don't know if I depend on him. And then if you guys remember talking about Seattle and Russell Wilson's weapons a few years ago, the guy who was this really good, talented number 3 wide receiver for Russell Wilson in David Moore was on the Broncos for like 2 seconds. It's like, oh, the Broncos paid the Seahawks former number 3 wide receiver. Maybe that's going to help the room. Yeah, he's not cutting it. See ya. We're going to waive you. You're not very good compared to the starters. So maybe you're not going to get the top end of DK Metcalf level play, but I think the depth and the bevy of weapons that you have is going to matter a lot. Also, it's a dependent position. You guys are seeing this. How good was Kenny Galladay with Matt Stafford, and then he went and played for the Giants last year and couldn't do anything. The explosion of Odell Beckham Jr. with Matt Stafford versus what was going on with Baker Mayfield there in Cleveland. Odell Beckham Jr.'s washed. He looked like he was going for 200 in that Super Bowl before he had that horrible injury. So the quarterback matters so much for the wide receiver's production that I would be wait and see before I'm decreeing Seattle's weapons better than Denver's, because we're gonna find out pretty quickly how they look with those quarterbacks.
And if I stack up all the weapons, I like where the Broncos sit there. If I go Judy, Patrick Sutton, Javonte Okwebanam, I'm
KJ
okay
Hamler,
with my
maybe
4th and 5th option there.
Yeah.
So again, as JJ says, for the vein cream, great show, guys. You know what? I'll put them under these big dark circles under my eyes. That's where I need it the most. Appreciate you, Jay.
Yeah, absolutely. Also,
if I didn't show, okay, Casey Mack coming in. Go ahead.
Yeah, Casey Mack coming back in. Thank you so much for your support, Casey. I thought I would make my thoughts known on this. It's been a while that I have been so excited for an upcoming Broncos season. Was let down when I learned when Rodgers wasn't coming here, but was jumping up and down when he came out. Yeah, the wave of emotions was incredible when that happened. Jerry Jeudy kind of exemplified it with his tweets, the frown to the jubilation. But I am laughing so hard because I just picture Aaron Rodgers being this absolute narcissistic, everybody pay attention to me kind of guy. Don't worry, I'm going to come on and announce on Pat McAfee's show what my decision is. doesn't do that. I don't trust him for
didn't.
1
He
second.
never said that.
I thought he did.
No, he never said that. You guys, like
Let
I
me hate
said,
him, Scott. I don't care. Let me hate him. Okay.
you can hate him, but don't make stuff up. Now you're
Okay.
gonna sound like now you're gonna sound like the quarterback conversation. I don't like
Yeah.
revisionist history.
Well,
You can hate him and say he strung this along and blah blah blah.
he
Okay, I
used
can't prove that
Denver.
you're wrong on that. But
Used him.
again, all the Aaron Rodgers stuff is on guys like us.
Yeah.
It's on the media up there, picking apart his latest tweets. This is what it means. He's going to make an announcement. He never said that. He said by March 16th, I want to have this done by free agency. He did.
Yep.
Now he's got $50 million. So it's tough to feel bad for the attention he's been getting.
Good luck, because if he doesn't win a Super Bowl in these next 3 years, the media is going to put him on a spike.
Well, and how much better can that team get now that you've eaten up their caps? They have to clear more cap space in order to do that. I don't know. I don't think, like I said, I almost think it would have been better off. The best thing maybe for the Green Bay Packers would have been if you retired.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, when you learned that Rodgers wasn't coming here, you're like, sure, of course, they're going to stay. Wait, what? Russell Wilson? Because like I said at the very beginning, and I mentioned my daughter's softball team is sour grapes. We have said since the very beginning, we can go back and say for next year, I'd rather have Aaron Rodgers. But overall, I'd rather have Russell Wilson because you can get 6 or 7 years out of the guy and forget about that position for a while and build everything around him. Yes, I would. I would have rather had Russell Wilson. This isn't hindsight saying it. This isn't me changing on it. Yeah, he's younger. He's good.
Yep.
David coming in saying Justin Fields about to tear A-Rod a new Heine. I hope, again, y'all have heard me say it before. Who do I root for? I root for me. I was a big Justin Fields fan. I thought he should have gone number 2 overall last year. I want him to succeed for me.
Yep.
Make me look good.
Yeah, absolutely. Clee making me laugh. Maybe Judy's true calling is as a writer. Brevity is the soul of wit, right? As they say. And just using emojis to write, that's brilliant. Jacob Foster coming back in 3 times,
Jacob,
man, knocking on
awesome.
the door.
Jacob, you're awesome. And Travis, let's see if I can find Travis in here. I got to scroll down a little. Y'all are killing it in the chat today. Travis coming in with some more stars. Travis Tarbox. I have to separate. We've got lots of Travises, lots of Andrews. Any word on Josie Jewell coming back? Yes, I'm biased. He's a Hawkeye like me. And Nick touched on this a little bit earlier in the show, thinking that he's going to test free agency, see what his market value is going to be like. And I think he'd be willing to stay for a little bit less than what his market value might be like, but not a ton less.
Yeah.
And as Nick said, the Minnesota Vikings, keep an eye on the Vikes. Appreciate you, Travis.
Yeah, that's a team that makes a lot of sense. I think the Broncos, there were confirmed rumors out there. I think Mike Kliss put it out there that the Broncos and Josie Jewell's camp had been talking. No deal yet has come to fruition. I think that the Broncos are interested in bringing back Jewell, but Jewell is also wanting to see what the market looks like. So
our legal expert, the Mile High Huddle legal expert, and this is big. This is something we haven't even talked about. The news around the quarterbacks has been insane this week, and we haven't even touched on this one.
Yeah.
That Deshaun Watson is a big day in court tomorrow. The grand jury tomorrow is coming for Deshaun Watson, and as all attorneys know, a grand jury will indict a ham sandwich. Yeah, it's not a guilt, but they're basically saying, and correct me if I'm wrong on this because I probably am, but we want to see a trial. And the grand jury, we want to see a trial and let it play out there. We're not going to be the ones responsible for throwing this thing out, which won't be good for Watson. If it's thrown out, it will be good for Watson, and then. Goodness, the market for Deshaun Watson will be fire. Fire. So we will see.
Yep. And we got our resident Seahawks fan coming in here, spitting a little bit of vitriol. It's okay. I'll let you Broncos fan thinks you're going to be good end of the season when you don't win a Super Bowl. Who cares? You got Wilson. You know what? If you get into the playoffs and you have a good enough quarterback, you have a chance. Wilson has been up and down, and obviously that Seahawks team was better when he was on a rookie contract with that Legion of Boom and handing off the ball to Marshawn Lynch, but it's not Russell Wilson's fault that the Seahawks traded 2 first-round picks for Jamal Adams. It's not Russell Wilson's fault that the Seahawks drafted Jordan Brooks, who's been fine, but he's an off-ball linebacker. How much impact does he actually have? It's not Russell Wilson's fault that the edge rushers and the cornerbacks for Seattle have been dreadful. It's not his fault that the Seahawks just haven't built a very good team around him. Is he the best quarterback in the league? No, he's not. Is he a top 10 guy and gives you a chance? Yes. If you get in the playoffs, last year, what was the seed for the Bengals? Were they the 5 seed, the 6
they were
seed?
10-7, weren't they?
Yeah, 10-7. Got to the Super Bowl. The Rams were the 4th seed. They got to the Super Bowl and won it all. If you get in, you have a chance. And the Broncos definitely have a chance to get in with
Well,
Russell Wilson.
again, you start basically in August, okay? In July for
Yeah.
OTAs and all this type of stuff. So July, August, September, October, November, December. If
Yeah.
I got 6 months of fun and it all goes up in smoke in 1 week in January,
Yeah.
so be it. So be it. Because you know what wasn't fun last year? You know what wasn't fun the year before that? You know what wasn't fun the year before that? I could keep going.
Yeah.
Is the Denver Broncos play.
Yep.
So if I get 6 months of excitement and fun and you don't win a Super Bowl, oh no.
Yep.
Oh my. Okay, well we'll go again next year and we're going to have fun doing it. Only one team wins.
Yep.
We're acting like the people don't watch only if their team's going to win the Super Bowl. Let's have some perspective here, folks.
Yeah, here we
Sour
go.
grapes. The sour grapes of Murphy Candler, the Washington sour grapes.
Yeah, absolutely. FC Donnelly, pretty sure it takes a team to win a Super Bowl. You need a quarterback to get a ticket to the dance, but after that, you need a team to take you home.
Well, that's the fun part. We've been talking about that the Broncos have the team. They have the team. They didn't have the quarterback. What did they give up that hurt their team? So did you not think you had a good enough team to begin with? No. So in FC, you might be agreeing with us. It's a good team. Yep. Because like you're saying, it's not just on A-Rod can't get it done in the playoffs. It's a team 100%. Game, man. I've seen Trent Dilfer win a Super Bowl. What does that mean? It means he had a good team because he wasn't a very good quarterback.
Yep, 100%. Wyatt coming in here. I hope Jewel comes back. Give me some hope and reason to watch. Maybe the Broncos can bring back a long snapper, Casey Kreider from the University of Iowa, who's I think with the Giants now. No, I actually met Casey's sister a few times at the University of Iowa. Nice girl. Name to keep an eye on for the Broncos here if you want to be looking for your Iowa Hawkeye connection here, Wyatt. Dane Belton, safety from the University of Iowa. He played the star position, as the Hawkeyes call it. It's essentially the Broncos still want to live in a kind of base world, but they know that with all the spread going, or excuse me, the Hawkeyes, they want to have more defensive backs on the field. So instead of a will linebacker, they made that position an essential safety. So it's like a safety linebacker slot cornerback hybrid. They have to be physical. They have to be able to tackle. They have to cover. They have to run. Dane Belton had 5 interceptions this last year. He tested extremely well at the combine. And from my understanding, expect the Broncos to be a team that is on defense, a team that's trying to live in as much nickel and dime as possible. That means you need defensive backs who can wear multiple hats, playing in the box, playing in the slot, playing too deep. And Dane Belton's a guy who can do that. I think he's going to go round 3. So keep an eye on Dane Belton if you're looking for your Iowa Hawkeye connection.
So, Nick, you have a better memory than me on this. They upgraded the special teams coach position, but the specialists, except for Deontay Spencer, who's still there, by the way, right? Deontay Spencer still under contract?
Yes, I believe so.
I think, he should be. You're looking to bring in some new blood for the return positions, but punter and kicker are in pretty good shape, and then the coordination coming off on coverages should improve just by osmosis. Basically, they should improve because it'd be hard to get worse.
Yeah.
So they should, by default, it should get better. Yep. And you get the double benefactor of watching your old special team coach in your division at the Raiders.
Yeah. Mr. God bless Tom McMahon, because he will fall in a grenade for anybody. As far as special teams go, that's one of the reasons that personally I am not skeptical, but I don't think you should be trying to package up picks to move up too much unless a guy you absolutely love falls to that's like the perfect fit and you need him. But those picks in rounds 3, 4, 5, those are guys that need to be year 1 special teams impact players. That's where you can take swings on the combine guys whose tape hasn't lived up to it yet. But you know where athleticism truly translates, like point blank? Special teams. If they're physical and they can run, hey, guess what? You got a future in the league playing in special teams. So I would expect the depth of the draft to bring some guys who have some special teams impact year 1, and special teams is going to be big as well. I know a lot of people, including myself, were excited last season for the draft pick of Jamar Johnson, University of Indiana safety. Dude couldn't get on the field to play special teams. And because of that, he's on the chopping block this season. If he can't go out there and earn special team snaps, guess what? You're not valuable as the fourth safety if you can't play on special teams. So it's going to be important to find some height, weight, speed guys who can fly and impact that room. Speaking of
resident legal expert, Ethan, the DWI guys, coming in and saying the grand jury proceedings, it's only the prosecution presenting evidence. The defense does not get to participate. That's why they say they will indict a ham sandwich, because we also know they wouldn't be there if they didn't think they had a case. That's why, I was actually in a murder trial a couple of years ago. And, they're talking about, is there anything that's going to bias you against this, and this? Well, I'm already biased because I know you wouldn't be here unless you thought you had a case. So you already think you can win.
Mhm.
This kid's been sitting in jail for 2 years. You already think you can win, so therefore I'm already biased against that guy sitting over there. It's kind of a joke. Anyway,
Yeah.
on that note, but thank you. Yes, I didn't know that about the grand jury. So yeah, they're not going to be there unless they've got a case. So you're going.
And one I want to get to real quick, but then Scott and I got to get out of here. We got things we got to do today. I'm sure there are some Facebook stars that are coming in. Well, make sure you guys are getting in those stars to win a chance for the jersey raffle at the end of this month once we reach our star goal. And I'm guessing I know what jersey people are going to want. But Barack coming in here saying, Aaron keeps saying, I don't know who Aaron is. There's so many comments here. We appreciate you guys. I remember
his friend Aaron.
His friend Aaron. Okay. Says the Bills would kick the Broncos' butt. I seriously doubt that. The Bills are probably a team that are going to be favored over the Broncos in the Super Bowl right now. That's fine. If they played each other right now, let's say, 10 times, I think the Bills would probably win 7 of them based on, we still have so much to figure out what this roster is going to be before free agency. So we'll see. But the Broncos are still an unknown on how the cocktail works together. We have a much better idea for the Bills. So I think it's a safe bet to say the Bills are better than the Broncos right now. But guess what? In the playoffs, you only need one shot. It's why there's always March Madness is chaos. 15 seed beating a 2 seed in a single elimination tournament. If you're in the game, you have a chance. Broncos in Super Bowl 50. The Panthers were one of the best defense and offense EPA per play teams in the last decade, which is insane. The Broncos probably were not the better team, but the Broncos got a strip sack early. They were up 10-0 early, and they could just play. They could park the bus, in essence, football style, and win a Super Bowl. One game. Anything can happen. So maybe they beat the Broncos' butt, but the Broncos now have a chance because they have a good enough quarterback. And that's all you can ask for.
The Bills are good enough to kick anybody's butts on any given day. They're really good. That doesn't mean the Broncos aren't. I love the Bills. I think Josh Allen is just awesome to watch. Mm-hmm. They're a running back away. They probably get a running back this offseason. They're going to be one of the Super Bowl favorites, without a doubt. That said, they didn't make the AFC Championship game either. They didn't lose to the team that won the AFC Championship game. So there's a lot of good teams. It's fun. Now the Broncos are in that conversation, and the 17 weeks leading up to the playoffs are going to be fun again. Fun. That's why we're here, right? If it's not fun, why are we here?
Yeah, I would say there are 2 co-favorites in the AFC. Even though the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, I would not put them there yet. Burrow was fine in the playoffs, but not God mode. Is honestly their defense that stepped up. But it's Chiefs, Bills, and then there's an assortment of teams that include the Broncos now, which is awesome. The Chargers are one of them. They have a lot of cap space, transcending quarterback. The Bengals are there as well. Probably I'd still put the Ravens in that tier. So those are just off the top of my head. But the Broncos are now in the conversation, rightfully so. God, it's great to be there.
Yeah, and Quentin, thank you for the stars, coming in late with some stars. Appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that just about wrap us up, Nick. I know we got a couple guys. Lawrence, I'm going to read this real quick. It says, hey, guys, we need to keep Wilson and Sierra happy or he will switch up quick. What else can we do? I think they're happy. And you want to keep, part of man management. That's what I said where Vic Fangio was so bad was the man management. I've got more faith in Nathaniel Hackett being honest and open and fair and open-minded with this group of players, an offensive philosophy that he came here with. He came here with is happy to be here. He chose the Denver Broncos. He would have been unhappy with the Washington Commies. Mm-hmm. No, this was on this one. We actually turned the guy loose. He was in a car that did a drive that did kind of a drive-by. He was in the car and he was in jail for 2 years. And they had already had the 2 brothers that were involved convicted, and he went to be tried separately. And we turned him loose, and we said, hopefully, learn from this. Please don't ever let us see you in here again. But no, I haven't killed anybody.
Yeah. Gabriel says he volunteers to make Sierra happy. I said if Russell's coming here that she can walk me on a leash. Somebody said, oh, Sierra's got Russ on a leash. I'm like, I'll wear a leash, man. You come measure my neck. I don't care. Fallen Sloth said the Bengals are $60 million and they have to build an offensive line. They don't have any other needs. building an offensive line is nice in theory. It's not always that simple. What the Chiefs did last year is pretty unprecedented. 2 rookies hitting like that. And then Orlando Brown Jr., who I can't wait to see them have to pay them, because when you trade for a guy that's on a last year of his deal, he has all the negotiating power. It's almost like a sunk cost. Like, well, now we have to pay him. Get all that money, Orlando Brown Jr. We appreciate you. Also, he's not very good when they have to play the drop back pass game in space. He does not move well enough in that kind of game. So please pay him, Chiefs. He's good, but I think it'll be an overpay. The Bengals also have a big need at cornerback. That's another position. They last year, who was the guy just talking mad? Eli Apple, not good enough. Travis coming in, great show, guys. We appreciate you, Travis. We appreciate everybody coming in.
Yeah, get us out of here, Nick. It's been a fun day, and this is the last time that Nick and I will see you until Monday. Well, we'll be on Saturday night. I'll be behind the scenes, and Nick will be here. But it's been one hell of a week, Broncos country.
Yeah. Absolutely. You guys are great. We appreciate you so much. Make sure you guys are following Scott and I on Twitter. Scott is at Scout Kennedy, and I'm at Nick Kendell MHH. I've had a lot of new Twitter followers recently. I think people are excited for the good vibes that are in Denver now that it's not the dark cloud in the room is the Broncos quarterback situation. It's excitement. It's a ascending team, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you guys are following Scott and I to enjoy that wave, enjoy the ride, and stay up to date. Also, make sure you're following us on Twitter at Huddle Up Pod, as well as at Mile High Huddle. If you guys are on Facebook, make sure that, hey, if you're watching on Facebook right now, click the thumbs up. We're at 90. That's a heck of a number, man. We appreciate you guys. We're doing business in here. Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle, as well as Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod. A lot of good conversation on there. If you guys, honestly, if there's something on there where it's like that you really disagree with a point that Scott and I made on there, at me on Facebook, at me on Twitter, at Scott maybe as well, or at me to at Scott. I'll be, hey Scott, you're being called upon. Get on Twitter.
I like the YouTube comments. I really do. Yeah. I like going into the YouTube comments. I know that's where Twitter is Twitter. You know, if I'm interacting on Twitter, you know who benefits the most on that? Twitter does. I like being on the Mile High Huddle page, interacting with y'all. That feels more personal to me.
Yeah. That's I am Twitter. When things happen, it's just through me. I just might as well insert a chip in my head, or, you know, my face might as well be the bird logo, but I am Twitter. Make sure you guys are also following us on YouTube, subscribing to the show, liking the show, sharing the show on your social media platforms. You're going to want to be a part of this going forward. We want you guys to be a part of this going forward because it's going to be a lot of fun, especially, gosh, the moves that are about to come and transpire over the next week, 2 weeks, flurry of action. And you're going to want to be a part of the conversation. If you have questions about it, what does this mean? Why did they do this? What does this look like going forward? Obviously, we're going to wait and find out, but it's the exploration, the abstract of discussing how it all works together, how it's going to all work is a lot of fun. And it's a lot more fun when you guys in the comment section and the community are contributing, and they're right along with us. If you guys are on Apple listening after the fact, or you listen to podcasts at all, make sure you go to Apple Podcasts on iTunes, find the Huddle Up Podcast, leave us a 5-star rating and review. Helps us a heck of a lot. I think we're approaching 400 reviews, and we're at 4.5 stars, which is amazing. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a podcast that was purely 5 stars. So 4.5 is awesome. We love you guys. So keep that rolling. We got to keep the day rolling because it is getting a little bit long here. We got Luke Walsh coming in, Niners fan chiming in. The good news is we don't have to face Russell Wilson twice a year. Bad news is we'll have to play him this year as a Broncos quarterback this season. Man, I'm really interested to see what the 49ers look like this year. I think they're the dark horse team. They got this far with Jimmy Garoppolo. Now you add the running arm talent element of Trey Lance. That's a fun team to watch. I am very, very, very intrigued. I'm also excited to watch them because I had a lot of quarterback envy before because I loved Trey Lance. Now I can be like, oh, we got Russell Wilson. I'm just curious and pulling for Trey Lance, the player.
Yep, and again, everything should be fun. Again, it should be fun. You know, the sour grapes comments of, "Oh, great, you're still not gonna win." Haven't been winning. Okay, now I'm excited again. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. It's not Super Bowl or bust. It's let's get better. We got better. Broncos got better.
Yep,
they didn't have to give up a ton to do it.
Smash that like button on the way out, guys. Like Clayton says, we appreciate you. Make sure you're tuning in tonight for the final show of the week of the Huddle Up podcast with Chad and Zach. Good times are rolling. We appreciate you guys. On air for 90 minutes now. Gotta walk the dog. I love you. You guys stay safe. Choose kindness. Choose compassion. The sun's coming up in Denver. It's going to be a great season. Go Broncos.